Imagine, for a moment, the ancient city of Ephesus, now near modern Kuzadaska, Turkey. This bustling metropolis, once considered one of the wealthiest Greek cities, was the birthplace of Heraclitus, an influential Ionian philosopher who would leave his mark on Western thought. Heraclitus hailed from a prominent family in this thriving city, which was renowned for its vibrant cultural life and intellectual ferment. Ephesus was not just any city. It sat on the Ionian coast of Asia Minor, a region known for its cosmopolitanism and intellectual prowess. This environment, rich with ideas and debates, would have greatly influenced Heraclitus's thinking. Imagine the lively marketplaces filled with merchants from across the Mediterranean, each bringing their own philosophies and beliefs. Amidst this vibrant tapestry of cultures, Heraclitus would have been exposed to a myriad of perspectives, all vying for attention and credibility. And it was within this crucible of thought that Heraclitus's philosophy of constant change began to take shape. But let's step back for a moment and consider the broader context. The late 6th century BCE was a time of profound intellectual awakening. Heraclitus, born around 540–535 BCE, would live to see the rise of some of the greatest minds of his time, thinkers who would challenge and be challenged by his ideas. His philosophy, expressed in short, paradoxical fragments, would become a cornerstone of Western thought, read and reinterpreted from Plato to Heidegger. The world is in a state of perpetual motion, a vast river that never remains the same for 2 moments. This was not merely an observation, but a profound philosophy, Panta Rhei, a pox of plows. He believed fire to be the fundamental principle underlying all transformation, a fiery essence that permeates every element and drives its metamorphosis. In Heraclitus's cosmology, the world consists of a law-like interchange of elements symbolized by fire. The philosopher's most famous saying encapsulates this doctrine, Panta Rhei. Everything flows and changes. Here, Heraclitus acknowledges that while the physical river remains continuous, the waters within it are ever-changing. In essence, the philosopher is suggesting that stability is an illusion. The very nature of reality is fluid and dynamic. This doctrine posits that true understanding comes from recognizing an underlying order in the cosmos, one driven by the transformative power of fire. Heraclitus's philosophy invites us to contemplate the constant flux of our world and our place within it. As we delve deeper into his thought, the river of change will continue to reveal its profound lessons. For Heraclitus, fire is not merely an element or a force, but a rational principle called the logos. This logos orders the cosmos, maintaining balance and harmony amidst constant change. Consider the eternal cycle of a forest fire. It consumes the old and makes way for the new. The blaze clears the path for fresh seeds to take root, renewing the landscape. For instance, in every flame lies a story of creation and destruction, a microcosm of the universe's grand narrative. This fire, this logos, is what makes sense out of the chaos, ensuring that even as things change, they do so within a structured framework. Imagine a campfire on a starry night. The flames flicker, casting shadows that dance and sway in the darkness. In that moment of tranquility, you're not just watching fire, you're witnessing the eternal rhythm of life and death playing out in miniature. The logos, this rational principle, brings a sense of order to the universe, even as everything around us is in constant flux. Heraclitus believed that opposites in unity are a fundamental aspect of the universe. He argued that contradictory propositions can be true in the world as he conceived it. This means that what we perceive as opposites, such as hot and cold, light and dark, or even good and evil, are not separate entities but rather 2 sides of the same coin. Take, for instance, his belief that strife is justice. For Heraclitus, conflict is not something to be avoided or feared. Rather, it plays a crucial role in maintaining balance and harmony in the world. Just as day follows night and summer follows winter, strife is an essential part of the natural order of things. This perspective on conflict extends to his view on war as well. Heraclitus famously stated that war is the father of all things. This doesn't mean he glorified violence. Instead, it suggests that he saw war as a catalyst for change and growth. In his philosophy, war drives progress and evolution by forcing societies to adapt and innovate. Imagine a river, which Heraclitus often used as an analogy for life's constant change. As water flows, it can be both calm and turbulent. The tranquil parts allow reflection and growth, while the rough patches stir up new ideas and solutions. Both are necessary for the river to maintain its course and nourish the lands it passes through. In this sense, Heraclitus's philosophy offers a profound insight into the nature of reality, that opposites are not only interconnected, but also necessary for balance and growth. It is through the tension between opposing forces that harmony and progress can be achieved. As we delve deeper into Heraclitus's philosophy, it becomes clear that his views on unity and change are intricate and multifaceted. They challenge us to reconsider our perceptions of opposites and to see conflict not as a threat, but as an opportunity for growth and understanding. With this perspective, we can begin to appreciate the complex dynamics at play in the world around us, dynamics that are both beautiful and profoundly interconnected. The underlying law of nature, Heraclitus believed, also manifests itself as a moral law for human beings. To grasp this concept fully, we must delve into the heart of his philosophy, the Logos. It serves as an underlying order, a universal law that governs everything from the tiniest subatomic particle to the grandest celestial body. Understanding this order, Heraclitus posited, is key to true knowledge, a wisdom that transcends mere empirical observation. Imagine the cosmos as an intricate dance, where each element's movement is governed by an unseen choreographer, the Logos. The dance might appear chaotic to the naked eye, yet it adheres to a rhythm known only to those who grasp the choreography. This concept of an underlying order amidst apparent chaos resonates deeply with us today. It offers a sense of harmony and balance within the ever-changing world Heraclitus envisioned. As we continue to unravel his philosophy, we find that Heraclitus's views on constant change are balanced by a profound belief in this underlying order. Heraclitus's philosophy is more than just a contemplation of change, it reaches deeply into our understanding of morality and ethics. His belief in an underlying order, the Logos, gives rise to a moral law that binds us all. But how can something so destructive be just? For Heraclitus, strife serves as a catalyst for harmony. It forces us to confront our differences, pushing us toward a greater understanding and unity. This concept of war is not merely about battles or physical conflict. It encompasses the struggle within ourselves and among societies. It is the tension that drives progress and growth. Imagine two forces, opposites in nature, constantly at odds yet interdependent. This duality is not an exception but a fundamental principle of existence, according to Heraclitus. As we continue to navigate the complexities of ethics, it becomes clear that Heraclitus's insights are not mere philosophical abstractions, but practical guides for navigating our ever-changing world. For in a world where everything flows, understanding and embracing the tension of opposites may be the key to finding harmony amidst the constant change that defines our existence. For Plato, the river you see today is an imperfect reflection of an ideal form of a river that exists eternally and unchanged in the realm of forms. This difference in perspective offers a fascinating comparison between the two philosophers. Heraclitus emphasizes the fluid and ever-changing nature of reality, while Plato posits a duality where the physical world is in constant change but reflects eternal, unchanging essences. The influence of Heraclitus's ideas extends far beyond his own time. His philosophy was debated by philosophers like Plato and Aristotle for centuries after his death, highlighting the enduring relevance and depth of his thought. In this way, Plato acknowledges change while also positing a deeper level of reality that is fixed and unchanging. The contrast between Heraclitus's fluid view of reality and Plato's dualistic perspective offers a richer understanding of the nature of change and permanence. This comparison sets the stage for appreciating how philosophers throughout history have grappled with fundamental questions about reality, change, and our place in the universe. This principle suggests that even as new waters flow into a river, it maintains its identity through the continuous process of transformation. Heraclitus's ideas have had an unparalleled influence in Western thought, resonating with philosophers from Plato to Heidegger. His philosophy has particularly influenced Stoicism and other philosophical movements that grapple with the nature of reality and our place in it. The enduring relevance of Heraclitus's ideas lies in their ability to challenge and expand our understanding of the world around us. Heraclitus's ideas continue to provoke thoughtful contemplation about the nature of reality, our place within it, and the constant flux that surrounds us. Heraclitus, a prominent philosopher from the wealthy city of Ephesus, believed that change is not just inevitable, but fundamental to our understanding of reality. For Heraclitus, this constant flux was not chaotic, but rather governed by an underlying order, a cosmic law that binds all things together. Embracing this idea in everyday life means recognizing that change is not something to be feared, but rather a natural part of existence. It teaches us to adapt and grow with each passing moment, understanding that stability is an illusion and true progress comes from accepting the flow of life. In our daily lives, this means appreciating the balance between action and rest, joy and sorrow, light and dark, all essential for a well-rounded existence. This insight can guide us to see beyond immediate appearances and grasp the deeper connections that bind all things together. In practice, this might mean acknowledging the value of disagreement in fostering meaningful dialogue and progress. As we navigate life's challenges, remembering Heraclitus's teachings can help us find solace in the knowledge that all things are interconnected and subject to change. By embracing this philosophy, we can approach life with an open mind, ready to adapt and grow with the ever-flowing river of existence. Heraclitus's teachings remind us that change is not something to be resisted, but rather a natural part of life's beautiful dance. Understanding and accepting this constant flux allows us to find harmony within the ebb and flow of our daily experiences. In conclusion, Heraclitus's philosophy offers a profound framework for navigating life's changes and finding balance in the midst of constant flux. Heraclitus's philosophy extends beyond human life, encompassing the natural world and cosmos. His belief in the eternal nature of fire and its relation to change is a central tenet of his thought. This philosophy is illustrated in the cyclical processes of nature itself. The seasons, for instance, are a perpetual dance of transformation. Spring melts into summer, which cools into autumn, and finally, winter settles in. Each season carries within it the seeds of its successor, much like how a flame can both consume and nurture the wood it burns on. Similarly, celestial movements follow an eternal pattern. The sun rises each day, tracing an arc across the sky before setting again in the evening. This daily cycle repeats itself without fail, a testament to the ever-changing yet orderly nature of the cosmos. Heraclitus saw these cycles not as static, but as dynamic expressions of an underlying law. Just as fire transforms and renews, so does the universe in its ceaseless dance of creation and destruction. This law, known as the Logos by Heraclitus, governs all phenomena, from the tiniest particle to the grandest cosmic events. It is this principle that ensures that even amidst constant flux, there exists an underlying harmony and order. Heraclitus's philosophy thus offers a profound insight. While everything changes, the essence of transformation remains constant. It is this constancy within change that allows us to find our bearings even as we navigate through life's myriad shifts and transitions. In conclusion, Heraclitus's philosophy of constant change not only shapes our understanding of human existence, but also illuminates the natural world and cosmos around us. His doctrine reminds us that while everything is in a state of flux, there exists an unchanging essence that binds all things together. This wisdom can serve as a guiding light, helping us to embrace change, not with fear, but with the understanding that it is an integral part of existence. For in the ever-shifting tapestry of life, there lies a constant truth: everything flows. For Heraclitus, the soul is not a fixed entity, but rather a dynamic force within us. It participates in the eternal flux, just as the river does. Heraclitus uses fire as a metaphor for the soul's transformative capacity. Fire, like our souls, is in a state of constant change and yet retains its fundamental nature. According to Heraclitus, the soul, much like fire, can consume and be consumed. It is in a state of perpetual becoming, never static or fixed. This idea extends to our human experience as well. Our inner selves are not stagnant, but ever-changing, shaped by our thoughts and actions. In accepting this flux, we find a sense of peace with our inner selves, recognizing that change is not something to fear, but an inherent part of who we are. For instance, Seneca emphasized the need to accept and adapt to change in his writings. He believed that understanding and embracing the impermanence of life was key to achieving inner peace. Marcus Aurelius also echoed this sentiment in his Meditations. He wrote about the importance of seeing change not as a threat, but as an inherent part of life. While both Seneca and Marcus Aurelius drew from Heraclitus's ideas about change, they also incorporated their own unique insights. Stoicism places a strong emphasis on living in accordance with nature and accepting what cannot be changed. This philosophy encourages one to focus on the present moment and find contentment within the reality of change. The enduring influence of Heraclitus's ideas is evident in how Stoics like Seneca and Marcus Aurelius have interpreted and applied his doctrine over centuries. By doing so, they have shaped our understanding of the nature of existence and our place within it. The wisdom of accepting impermanence and embracing change has been a guiding light for many thinkers and philosophers over the centuries. In this way, Heraclitus's philosophy continues to resonate and inspire new generations of thinkers. Pollock's process of pouring and flicking paint onto a canvas mirrors the continuous flow and transformation that Heraclitus described. Each gesture in his paintings represents a moment in time, reflecting the philosopher's belief that everything flows. In literature, the influence of Heraclitus can be seen in the works of authors who explore themes of change and impermanence. For instance, Marcel Proust's Remembrance of Things Past delves into the idea that our memories and perceptions are constantly changing. Proust's novel explores how our understanding of the past shifts over time, echoing Heraclitus's assertion that reality is in a state of continuous flux. The narrator's reflections on his past experiences reveal how memories and interpretations evolve, mirroring the philosopher's doctrine. Similarly, in the poetry of Rainer Maria Rilke, the theme of transience and change is a recurring motif. Rilke's poems often depict nature and human life as being in a state of constant transformation, reflecting Heraclitus's view that everything is subject to change. One of Rilke's most famous poems, Herbsttag, captures the essence of this philosophical idea through vivid imagery and metaphor. The poem explores how the changing seasons embody the concept of flux, much like a river in constant motion. Through their works, these creative minds have translated Heraclitus's philosophy into visual and literary expressions that captivate audiences and provoke deeper reflection on the nature of existence. The next chapter will delve into the scientific implications of Heraclitus's ideas and how his philosophy resonates with contemporary scientific thought. In physics, the principle of constant change resonates with theories about the nature of reality and time. Albert Einstein's theory of relativity posits that space and time are not fixed entities, but rather dynamic elements influenced by motion and gravitational fields. In biology, the principle of constant change is evident in evolutionary theory. Charles Darwin's work demonstrates how species adapt and evolve over time through natural selection, reflecting Heraclitus's notion that all things are in a state of perpetual transformation. Modern geology also reflects this principle. The theory of plate tectonics illustrates how the Earth's crust is in a state of continuous change and motion. Over millions of years, continents drift apart, collide, and reshape the planet's surface. This theory underscores Heraclitus's belief that everything is in a state of flux and transformation. The Earth's landscape, much like the river, is never truly static but instead undergoes constant reshaping and renewal. Scientists today continue to build upon Heraclitus's insights, recognizing that change is not only inevitable but also fundamental to the fabric of our reality. His influence permeates various scientific disciplines, shaping our understanding of the dynamic nature of existence. Thus, Heraclitus's philosophy of constant change remains as relevant today as it was in his time, providing a foundational framework for modern scientific thought. His ideas serve as a reminder that our world is not static, but rather a continuous flow of transformation and renewal. As we continue to uncover the mysteries of the universe, Heraclitus's wisdom continues to guide us in appreciating the intricate dance of change that underpins all aspects of reality. In Taoism, the concept of wu-wei or effortless action emphasizes the importance of going with the flow of nature rather than resisting it. This idea resonates deeply with Heraclitus's belief that change is fundamental to reality and that our ability to adapt and flow with these changes determines our harmony with the universe. Buddhism also shares a profound understanding of impermanence, encapsulated in the concept of anicca, or non-self. Confucianism, too, acknowledges the dynamic nature of reality through the idea of qian, which translates to heaven or the natural. Across these philosophies, the theme of impermanence and the inevitability of change is a unifying thread that underscores our place within the cosmos. In understanding and accepting this universal truth, we can find solace in the beauty of constant transformation and the profound interconnectedness that binds all things. Heraclitus believed that this principle of constant change applies not only to physical phenomena, but also to the cycles and processes that shape life itself. Let's explore how this philosophical insight illuminates the cycle of life in the natural world. Consider, for instance, the metamorphosis of a butterfly. It begins as an egg, hatches into a larva or caterpillar, then spins itself into a cocoon before emerging as a winged adult. Each stage of this journey is distinct, yet they are all parts of the same continuous process. The river analogy beautifully illustrates this. Though the butterfly at each phase is different, it remains part of an uninterrupted life cycle. This cycle extends to the evolution of species over time. Over millennia, organisms adapt and change in response to their environments, giving rise to new forms of life. Take the coelacanth, a fish thought to have gone extinct 65 million years ago during the Cretaceous-Tertiary mass extinction. Yet, it was rediscovered in the Indian Ocean in 1938. This ancient species' survival against all odds demonstrates the resilience of life and the relentless flow of time and transformation. Ecosystems, too, are subject to ceaseless change. Forests transition through seasons, with trees shedding leaves in fall and bursting into bloom again in spring. These cycles reflect the dynamic interplay between life forms and their surroundings, mirroring Heraclitus's belief that change is fundamental to reality. Even at a microscopic level, biological processes echo this doctrine. Cellular division and growth depend on constant renewal and replication, each generation subtly different from the last. Every transformation in nature, large or small, is a testament to Heraclitus's insight into the perpetual flux of life. It reminds us that stability is an illusion. Change is the only constant. Economic theory grapples with the dynamic interplay between stability and flux, echoing Heraclitus's insight that everything is in a state of constant change. Heraclitus's ideas resonate with economists who recognize the inherent instability and adaptability of economic systems. For instance, John Maynard Keynes, a pivotal figure in modern economics, argued that markets can be volatile and unpredictable. He saw economic cycles as fluid, with periods of growth and recession intertwined in a ceaseless dance. The Great Depression of the 1930s was a stark reminder of this volatility, demonstrating that even the most robust systems can be swept away by forces beyond their control. Like a river in constant motion, economies shift and adapt to new conditions, resisting efforts to pin them down. This fluidity is not confined to financial markets. It extends to every aspect of economic life. From technological advancements that disrupt industries to geopolitical shifts that alter trade routes, change is the engine that drives economic systems forward. Heraclitus, the ancient Greek philosopher from Ephesus, known for his belief in the constancy of change, also delved into political philosophy. In the realm of governance, Heraclitus saw not stability but cycles. Just as rivers flow and seasons change, so too do political systems. He suggested that governments rise and fall like tides, with each regime reflecting a different phase in the river's flow. This cyclical nature is encapsulated in his famous saying, "Into the same rivers we step and do not step, we are and are not." The river, though ever-changing, remains itself through time. Heraclitus believed that stability in politics was an illusion. He argued that societies and institutions are always in a state of flux, adapting to new circumstances, just as a river shapes its course over time. Plato, in his dialogue, Dialectics, explored Heraclitus's notion that everything is in flux. Aristotle, meanwhile, suggested that while change is inevitable, there are patterns and laws governing it. The political systems we build today may be unrecognizable in centuries to come, just like the ever-changing course of a river. Heraclitus's insights remind us that our reality is one of constant change, a truth as fundamental to governance as it is to the natural world. As we navigate the complexities of political life, we do well to recall that, like rivers, our systems are always in motion. This includes not just the physical world, but ourselves as well. This challenges the idea of a stable identity over time. Modern philosophers have engaged with this concept, exploring how change influences our sense of self. They argue that if we accept the reality of constant change, our understanding of personal identity must evolve as well. This evolution acknowledges that who we are today is not the same person we were yesterday or will be tomorrow. Understanding ourselves as part of an ongoing process rather than a static entity provides a new perspective on personal identity. It suggests that our place in the world is dynamic and ever-changing, much like the rivers Heraclitus described. Language, too, is subject to constant change. Words evolve, their meanings shift, and new expressions emerge as cultures and societies adapt over time. This fluidity of language reflects the reality of continuous transformation that Heraclitus so eloquently captured. Philosophers have long grappled with this dynamic nature of communication. Socrates, for instance, believed in the power of dialogue to reveal truths that are otherwise hidden or obscured by static definitions and fixed ideas. Nietzsche furthered this idea, asserting that language itself is a reflection of the perpetual flux of existence. He argued that the fluidity and ambiguity of words mirror the ever-changing reality around us. This notion was taken up by thinkers like Wittgenstein, who posited that meaning is not inherent in words, but rather derive from their use within a particular context or language game. In this dynamic view, meaning emerges not from fixed definitions, but from the interaction and shared understanding that develops over time. Just as a river's course is shaped by its surroundings, so too are the paths of communication influenced by the cultural and societal contexts in which they flow. To appreciate this fluidity is to embrace a worldview where stability is an illusion, and constant change is the true nature of our existence. Heraclitus's ideas thus offer a lens through which we can see language not as a rigid system, but as a living, breathing process that reflects the dynamic reality he so keenly observed. Heraclitus's philosophy is not confined to the ephemeral nature of language. It extends deeply into our understanding of time itself. This doctrine challenges our conventional notions of permanence and stability in the world around us. Heraclitus believed that everything flows and changes continually, much like a river's ever-moving current. This fluidity extends to our perception of time itself. Other philosophers, influenced by Heraclitus, have similarly interpreted time as fluid and dynamic. For instance, Plato's dialogues often explore the nature of time through the lens of Heraclitus's ideas. This intertwining of time and change offers a profound perspective on our existence. This perspective invites us to embrace the transient nature of our reality and to find beauty in its ever-changing tapestry. Understanding the concept of flows can help us navigate our mental states with more resilience. By recognizing that change is fundamental to our reality, we can better adapt to new situations and maintain a sense of stability amidst constant flux. In modern psychology, the concept of flows has been explored through studies on mindfulness and meditation. These practices encourage individuals to be present with their thoughts without judging or trying to control them. In the end, accepting the reality of psychological flux allows us to navigate our mental health with greater ease. It helps us understand that stability is not a fixed state, but a dynamic process. By embracing this understanding, we can cultivate resilience and adaptability in the face of life's constant changes. By embracing the concept of psychological flux, we can approach life's challenges with a sense of acceptance and detachment, knowing that stability is not a fixed state, but a dynamic process shaped by constant change. This dynamic nature of the brain can be observed through a phenomenon called synaptic pruning, where the brain strengthens and weakens connections between neurons based on their usage. This process is analogous to how rivers carve new paths and abandon old ones. Research has shown that even into old age, the brain maintains this capacity for adaptation. For instance, studies have demonstrated that learning new skills or engaging in mentally stimulating activities can lead to the growth of new neurons and the formation of fresh synaptic connections. This ongoing process of neuroplasticity is not just limited to learning and memory, it extends to our emotional responses and behavioral patterns as well. Trauma or positive experiences can leave lasting imprints on the brain, reshaping how we perceive and interact with the world. Moreover, the brain's capacity for change is not merely reactive, it also exhibits proactive adaptability. For example, sleep helps to consolidate memories and reinforce learning by selectively strengthening certain neural connections while pruning others. Ultimately, recognizing the brain's neuroplasticity as a manifestation of Heraclitus's philosophy can offer insights into how to navigate life's challenges with a sense of acceptance and detachment. It reminds us that change is not something to fear or resist, but rather an integral part of who we are and how our reality functions. Think of a river, perpetually flowing yet remaining itself. To Heraclitus, this was the essence of reality, ever-changing yet coherent. In a world governed by constant change, education must reflect this reality. Lifelong learning becomes not just an ideal, but a necessity. Educators can incorporate Heraclitus's principles by designing curricula that emphasize adaptability and continuous growth. This means teaching not just facts but also the skills to navigate a world where everything is in motion. By understanding that change is fundamental, we prepare ourselves and future generations to thrive amidst the river of life's constant flow. In this light, education is not a destination, but a journey that never ends. The essence of Heraclitus's philosophy in educational practice is the recognition that learning is a process of perpetual discovery. So let us embrace lifelong learning, acknowledging that change is not something to fear, but an integral part of our existence. For Heraclitus, this principle of change was not merely a physical observation, but a philosophical cornerstone that shaped his views on society and its dynamics. Societies, much like rivers, are not static entities, but are constantly in a state of transformation. This perspective challenges the notion of societal stagnation and encourages us to view stability as an illusion. The ability to embrace change is not just an aspect of resilience, but a fundamental requirement for societal survival. Heraclitus's philosophy thus serves as a powerful reminder that social dynamics are not static, but fluid and evolving. Understanding this principle can help societies prepare for the inevitable transformations they will face, fostering a mindset of continuous adaptation and growth. It is through this lens that we can appreciate the beauty and necessity of constant transformation in both nature and society. By recognizing change as a fundamental aspect of reality, we position ourselves to better navigate the ever-evolving landscape of our social dynamics. This understanding not only enhances societal resilience, but also enriches our experience within the ceaseless flow of life's river. He argued that everything around us is in a state of becoming rather than static being. This concept challenges the notion that the world is fixed and unchanging. This idea stands in contrast to philosophers like Parmenides, who maintained that true reality cannot change. Heraclitus believed that constant change is the fundamental characteristic of our universe. This metaphor suggests that while the river remains identifiable, its composition is constantly shifting with new waters flowing in. By acknowledging that everything is in a state of becoming, we can better appreciate our place within this dynamic universe and the ever-evolving nature of life. Every river, every stream, and even the ocean's tides illustrate a fundamental truth about our world. Nothing stays the same. Everything is subject to change. This idea of ceaseless transformation extended beyond nature to human affairs and even warfare. If we consider the philosophy of Sun Tzu, another ancient thinker from China, we find striking parallels. Sun Tzu's Art of War emphasizes the importance of adaptability and resilience in military strategy. He argues that a good general must be flexible like water. Water, according to Sun Tzu, can fill any shape or void because it has no form of its own. It merely adapts to whatever container it is placed in. This adaptability allows water to overcome any obstacle. Similarly, Heraclitus believed that the essence of life lies in its ability to change and flow with circumstances. In warfare, this principle translates to a need for constant adaptation and resilience. A leader who can navigate the ever-changing landscape of conflict is more likely to emerge victorious. Sun Tzu advises that the skillful soldier does not raise a second spear before the first one has fallen. This suggests a focus on the immediate moment and adaptability to new conditions. This philosophy of flexibility resonates with Heraclitus's view that life is not static but fluid, always subject to becoming. By embracing this dynamic nature, we can better navigate the uncertainties of war and peace. The practical implications are profound. In an ever-changing world, those who cling to rigid strategies may find themselves overwhelmed by new challenges. Conversely, those who remain adaptable and resilient, like water filling any form, can weather the storms of conflict and emerge stronger. The philosophies of Heraclitus and Sun Tzu remind us that in a world where nothing is permanent, adaptability and resilience are not just advantages but necessities. By acknowledging the ever-flowing nature of life and adapting our strategies accordingly, we can better navigate the complexities of warfare and all aspects of existence. From the shores of the ancient Mediterranean to the bustling streets of Rome, civilizations have risen and fallen, reflecting Heraclitus' principle that everything is in a constant state of change. This is not merely a philosophical concept, but an observable pattern woven into the tapestry of human history. The ancient Greeks, with their vibrant city-states and intellectual prowess, were a testament to this flux. From Athens' golden age of Pericles to the Peloponnesian War that saw its decline, the city underwent transformations that mirrored the ever-flowing river Heraclitus described. Further east, the Persian Empire expanded and contracted in a dance of power and influence. Cyrus the Great unified various tribes under his rule, creating a vast empire that stretched from the Mediterranean to the Hindu Kush. Yet, like the river, this empire was not static. The Roman Republic followed suit, evolving into the mighty Roman Empire that dominated the Mediterranean world for centuries. From humble beginnings as a small agricultural community, Rome grew to encompass vast territories and diverse cultures. Yet even this colossal empire was not immune to the forces of change. The fall of Rome in 476 CE marked the end of an era and the beginning of a new chapter for Europe. These patterns of growth, decay, and renewal are not isolated incidents, but universal truths that have played out across civilizations and eras. They remind us that change is the fundamental nature of our world. This Heraclitean lens not only helps us understand the past, but also guides us in navigating the present and future. By acknowledging the ever-flowing nature of life, we can adapt our strategies and perspectives accordingly. So let us embrace this constant flux, recognizing that it is through change that civilizations are reborn, renewed, and reimagined. For in the vast ocean of time, every civilization is but a wave that rises, crests, and eventually dissolves back into the sea of eternity. Friedrich Nietzsche, the German philosopher who lived in the late 19th century, put forth an intriguing concept known as eternal return or eternal recurrence. This idea suggests that life and the universe repeat themselves infinitely, with every event occurring over and over again throughout eternity. Nietzsche believed that accepting this notion could lead to profound personal growth and a deep sense of acceptance. This concept of eternal return is profoundly challenging, as it requires one to embrace all aspects of life, both joyous and sorrowful, without regret or desire for change. Nietzsche proposed that to fully embrace life, one must be willing to live through each moment again and again, accepting every aspect of existence without wishing for a different outcome. The idea that life is cyclical resonates with Heraclitus' philosophy, which emphasizes the fluid and ever-changing nature of reality. Both philosophers invite us to contemplate the transient nature of our existence within a vast and perpetually transforming universe. By accepting that change is inevitable and continuous, we can find solace in the knowledge that our experiences are part of a larger, eternal cycle. As we gaze into the night sky, let us remember that our lives are but fleeting moments in an infinite and eternal river of time. By accepting the inevitability of change and our place within it, we can find peace in the ever-flowing currents of existence. The dynamic nature of our internal world mirrors the external changes Heraclitus described. Our thoughts, memories, and sense of self are not static entities, but rather processes that evolve over time. Consider memory. It is not a fixed recording but a reconstructive process influenced by new experiences and emotions. Each recall can alter the original memory, reflecting the flux inherent in our cognitive systems. Self-awareness, too, is not a solid entity, but an ongoing process of introspection and adaptation. Our sense of self evolves as we learn, grow, and encounter new challenges. By accepting this flux as a fundamental aspect of our reality, we can deepen our understanding of how our consciousness operates. It teaches us to embrace the constant ebb and flow of thoughts, memories, and self-awareness. Heraclitus' philosophy suggests that our attempts to preserve nature must account for its dynamic character. Rather than trying to freeze time, we should aim to support the natural cycles of change. This perspective challenges us to reconsider our interactions with the environment. Instead of viewing nature as a static entity to be protected, we must understand it as an ongoing process that requires careful stewardship. In practical terms, this means that our ethical decisions must take into account the broader ecological consequences of our actions. For instance, the decision to clear-cut a forest for timber is not just about the trees being felled, but also about the habitat loss, carbon emissions, and disruption of local ecosystems. Heraclitus' philosophy helps us understand that our responsibility extends beyond the immediate and visible. We must consider the entire web of relationships that make up our environment. By embracing the flux inherent in nature, we can better adapt to changes and respond more effectively to environmental challenges. By recognizing that everything flows, we can make more informed and responsible choices about our role in shaping the world around us. Consider the ancient tools used by early humans. From stone axes to bronze daggers, each advancement was a response to changing environments and needs. These tools, like everything else, were subject to Heraclitus' doctrine of change. The impermanence of technology is evident in the shift from stone to bronze, and later to iron. Each new material brought with it a transformation in how humans could shape their world. Fast forward to the Industrial Revolution, where steam power revolutionized manufacturing. This innovation was not only a response to changing energy needs, but also drove further technological changes. The internal combustion engine, for example, replaced steam power in many applications, illustrating the impermanence and flux inherent in technology. In the 21st century, digital technologies have emerged as the latest phase of this continuous evolution. From personal computers to smartphones, each new device builds upon and eventually supersedes its predecessors. The rapid pace at which digital technologies become obsolete underscores Heraclitus' belief in the eternal nature of change. What was cutting edge yesterday is outdated today. This constant state of flux drives innovation and human progress. By recognizing that technology is subject to change, we can adapt more effectively and embrace new advancements as they emerge. This perspective has significant implications for how we interpret historical narratives and the passage of time. By acknowledging that everything is subject to change, we recognize that our perception of past events can be fluid and open to reinterpretation. Historical trends themselves are not static, but evolve over time as new information comes to light. The idea that everything flows encourages us to see history not as a fixed entity, but as a dynamic process that is continually being reshaped. This understanding can make our place in history feel more fluid and interconnected. It suggests that just as rivers continuously reshape their banks over time, so too do the narratives of human existence adapt and evolve. This perspective on flux and change encourages a more nuanced view of historical narratives, where past events are seen as part of an ongoing flow rather than isolated incidents. AI systems are designed to adapt and evolve in response to new data, a process that mirrors natural evolution. The algorithms at the heart of these systems mimic the way living organisms learn and change over time. Chaos theory, which explores the unpredictable nature of complex systems, also plays a crucial role in AI design. By embracing the principles of chaos and flux, AI systems can be made more resilient and adaptive to sudden shifts and unexpected events. Heraclitus' philosophy encourages the creation of flexible AI systems that can navigate the complexities of a world in constant motion. By acknowledging the impermanence and flux inherent in reality, we can build AI that is better equipped to handle unpredictability. By embracing the principles of constant change and evolution, we can ensure that our AI systems remain adaptable and robust, ready to face whatever challenges the future may bring. In the realm of quantum mechanics, we encounter a universe where particles can exist in multiple states simultaneously. This is known as superposition. Consider an electron. It isn't merely spinning around the nucleus of an atom, it's also potentially in many places at once. The act of observation collapses the wave function, determining the particle's state, akin to how stepping into a river alters its flow. Imagine if you could see every possible path an electron takes at once. It's as if the river's current is only discernible when you step into it. This interplay between observation and reality suggests a deeper truth. Our universe might be a fluid tapestry of potentialities, constantly shifting. Wave-particle duality further supports this idea. Particles like electrons and photons exhibit both wave and particle properties. In this sense, every quantum event is a microcosm of Heraclitus's flux. Particles continuously fluctuate between states. Observing or measuring these fluctuations forces them into one of their many possible states, similar to how stepping into the river alters its flow. Quantum mechanics thus paints a picture where change is the fundamental nature of reality, much like Heraclitus's universe, where stability is an illusion. In embracing these principles, we glimpse a world that's always in flux, waiting for observation to bring it into temporary focus. This principle of constant change has profound implications for our understanding of technology. In a world where everything flows, technological progress becomes not merely rapid, but inevitable. The concept of planned obsolescence exemplifies this principle. Companies deliberately design products to become outdated quickly, forcing consumers into a cycle of constant replacement and upgrade. Heraclitus's philosophy invites us to see this, not as a manipulative strategy, but as an inherent characteristic of our reality. If everything flows, then technology must evolve rapidly and ceaselessly. This rapid evolution can be seen in the exponential growth of computing power over the past decades. In just a few years, what was cutting-edge technology becomes obsolete, replaced by newer, more powerful systems. But with this constant advancement comes ethical implications. What happens to the old technologies that are discarded? And how do we balance innovation with sustainability? In embracing this philosophy, we acknowledge that technology is a reflection of our ever-changing reality. And by understanding the flow, we can harness its power more effectively and ethically. In the field of bioethics, genetic engineering and stem cell research exemplify this perpetual change. Advances in these areas bring new ethical considerations. Genetic engineering allows scientists to alter an organism's DNA, potentially curing diseases or enhancing traits. Yet, it raises questions about the ethics of manipulating life. Stem cell research, particularly with embryonic stem cells, offers promise for regenerative medicine, but sparks debates about the moral status of early human life. Heraclitus's philosophy provides a lens through which to view these complex issues. It prompts us to consider that our understanding of reality and morality must adapt as the world changes. With constant biological evolution, bioethical dilemmas become more intricate. How do we balance progress with ethical responsibility? Heraclitus's doctrine encourages us to see these challenges as part of an ongoing process. This perspective shifts the focus from fixed moral absolutes to a dynamic approach that can better navigate the fluid nature of scientific advancements. In conclusion, embracing the philosophy of constant change can provide a framework for grappling with the evolving landscape of bioethics. Heraclitus's philosophy doesn't just apply to the natural world. It also has profound implications for our understanding of human action and decision-making. In his fragments, Heraclitus introduces the concept of agon, a form of struggle or conflict that he sees as essential to life. This isn't just any kind of struggle, but one that drives growth and change. Heraclitus believed that everything is in a state of flux, including our actions and decisions. Nothing remains static. Every moment brings new possibilities and challenges. Consider how this applies to human action. Our choices are not fixed points in time, but part of a continuous flow. Each decision leads to another, influenced by the one before it and affecting the next. And perhaps most importantly, this philosophy can deepen our understanding of our place within a dynamic reality where every moment brings new opportunities for growth and change. This concept implies that emotions, too, are subject to this fluid nature. They ebb and flow, never remaining static for long. Think of a time when you felt a strong emotion, joy, sorrow, anger. Did it stay constant throughout the day? Or did it shift and morph as new experiences unfolded? Heraclitus believed that change is fundamental to our emotional landscape as well. Imagine the calm sea of a peaceful morning transforming into a turbulent ocean during a stormy afternoon. This metamorphosis mirrors our emotional journey throughout the day. This fluid nature of emotions has profound implications for our emotional well-being. Understanding that emotions are transient and ever-changing can help us navigate the ups and downs of life with greater resilience. Heraclitus's philosophy of change reminds us that every moment brings new opportunities for growth and adaptation. It encourages us to embrace the impermanence of our emotional states. It also invites us to consider how this principle applies to art and artistic creation. In the realm of art, change is not just a concept, but an essential element that shapes both the creative process and our experience of art. Artists often explore themes of transformation and flux in their work, capturing the dynamic nature of reality. The idea that everything flows aligns with the transient beauty captured in art. Paintings age, sculptures erode, and even digital art can become obsolete as technology advances. Yet, the ephemeral quality of art enhances its appeal, reflecting the fleeting nature of existence. Artists themselves are subject to change and growth over time, with their styles and themes evolving through different phases of their careers. This principle of flux extends to our perception and appreciation of art as well. As viewers, we too are in a state of constant change. Our tastes and interpretations shift over time, influenced by personal experiences and cultural contexts. In this way, art embodies the principle of constant change and flux, enriching our perception of reality through its transient beauty. Perhaps it is through the impermanence of art that we come to appreciate the richness and complexity of our own experiences. As Heraclitus reminds us, change is the only constant, and it is in embracing this that we find both beauty and meaning. For Heraclitus, the divine is not a static entity, but an ever-flowing force, much like his metaphorical river. This perspective aligns with Eastern religions like Buddhism and Taoism, which also emphasize impermanence and flux. In Buddhism, for instance, the concept of anicca emphasizes that all things are subject to change. Taoism's idea of wu-wei, or effortless action, suggests that one should flow with the natural course of things rather than resist. Christian theology also grapples with the concept of change, especially in its understanding of transformation and renewal. In Christianity, baptism is seen as a symbolic death and rebirth, mirroring Heraclitus's idea of constant renewal. Easter, too, celebrates the resurrection of Christ, underscoring the theme of transformation and renewal. Thus, Heraclitus's philosophy of flux not only influences our view of the physical world, but also resonates deeply within various spiritual and religious frameworks. It invites us to see change not as a threat, but as an integral part of existence, one that can bring growth, renewal, and ultimately meaning. As we embrace this philosophy, we deepen our understanding of ourselves and the universe around us. This realization, of course, does not come from simply reading about it. It requires immersing ourselves in the flow of life. To truly understand Heraclitus's philosophy of death, we must first grasp the central tenet of his teachings: nothing is permanent except change itself. For Heraclitus, life and death are part of this ceaseless transformation. He saw death not as an end, but as a transition from one state to another within the broader flow of existence. This perspective challenges our typical fear of death by reframing it within the context of impermanence. If everything is constantly changing, then the fear of stagnation or loss becomes misplaced. Instead, we should embrace change as an inevitable part of life's journey. Contemporary philosophers have built upon Heraclitus's ideas to offer a more nuanced view of death. Some argue that acknowledging the impermanence of all things can lead to a deeper appreciation for life. Others suggest that understanding death as part of an ongoing process helps alleviate the anxiety surrounding mortality. In essence, Heraclitus's philosophy of death encourages us to see our lives as part of a larger, eternal flow, one that transcends individual existence but is inseparable from it. Logos suggests that there is an inherent logic to the ever-shifting nature of reality. By understanding this principle, we can approach conflicts with a deeper appreciation for their fluid dynamics. Adaptability becomes crucial in resolving disputes. Just as rivers continually adapt to their changing environments, so too must we be flexible in our approaches to conflict. Historical examples illustrate the power of this principle. In ancient Greece, city-states often found themselves in conflicts that required adaptive strategies for resolution. The ability to navigate changing circumstances with flexibility and wisdom can be the key to transforming conflict into harmony. This is not just about accepting change. It's about understanding its underlying order. By embracing the fluid nature of reality, we can transform seemingly insurmountable conflicts into opportunities for growth and understanding. This metaphor emphasizes that change is not merely a part of reality, but its very essence. In our modern context, this ancient wisdom holds significant relevance for contemporary environmentalism. Climate change, for instance, demonstrates the fluid nature of our environment. The steady rise in global temperatures and shifting weather patterns underscore Heraclitus's assertion that all is in flux. Resource management strategies must adapt to these changing conditions. For example, farmers must now consider new crop varieties and irrigation methods that can withstand varying climate conditions. Species and ecosystems are not static, but constantly evolving in response to their environments. Effective conservation efforts recognize this dynamism, supporting the natural processes that drive ecosystems' adaptations. Thus, Heraclitus's philosophy not only acknowledges, but celebrates change as a fundamental aspect of existence, illustrating how ancient wisdom can provide timeless insights for addressing present-day ecological challenges. Imagine the river again. It is never the same from one moment to the next, yet we still recognize it as the same river over time. Similarly, while our experiences and thoughts may change constantly, there is an underlying continuity that makes us who we are. Thinking of ourselves in this way can be disorienting, but it also offers a path to resilience and adaptability in a world governed by flux. It reminds us that our true self is not rigid, but flexible and capable of embracing the changes life brings. By accepting that change is fundamental to reality, we can find a deeper sense of harmony with the natural order of things. In this sense, Heraclitus's philosophy invites us to see ourselves as part of an ongoing process rather than fixed entities isolated from our surroundings. So the next time you gaze into a river or feel the warmth of a fire, remember that you too are part of an eternal dance of change and transformation. This understanding can help us navigate our own lives with greater wisdom and acceptance of the flux that defines them. When we consider dialectical processes, such as those outlined by Hegel and Marx, we find striking parallels with Heraclitus's philosophy. Dialectics in Hegelian thought involves the progression from thesis to antithesis, and finally to synthesis, a process that embodies transformation through conflict and resolution. Similarly, Marxist dialectics emphasize the role of class struggle in historical development, where societal change arises from the tension between opposing forces. The river metaphor is particularly powerful because it illustrates how a continuous entity can undergo transformation while maintaining its essential identity. This notion of constant change through conflict and resolution resonates deeply with dialectical thinking, where progress is driven by the synthesis of opposites. By understanding Heraclitus's philosophy in this context, we gain a deeper appreciation for the dynamic and transformative nature of reality. Just as the river remains the same, despite the constant flow of new waters, our bodies undergo continuous renewal and transformation. Cells regenerate, tissues repair themselves, and our internal systems adapt to maintain balance. This dynamic process is integral to health, reflecting Heraclitus's idea that everything flows and changes. For instance, our immune system operates by continuously detecting and responding to new threats. It adapts to combat infections and maintain overall health. Similarly, Heraclitus saw strife, conflict, or disagreement as necessary for harmony and balance. Without opposites like illness and health, we wouldn't appreciate wellness. Recognizing this can help us adopt a more balanced and harmonious perspective on health. Instead of fearing illness or striving for permanent wellness, we can accept change as an inherent part of life and focus on maintaining balance and harmony. This shift in perspective can profoundly impact our attitudes towards illness and recovery. It encourages us to view illness as a temporary state rather than a permanent condition, allowing us to approach treatment with resilience and optimism. In this sense, Heraclitus's philosophy provides a practical framework for understanding health in a changing world. It reminds us that balance and harmony are not static states but ongoing processes that require constant attention and adaptation. This principle extends beyond the natural world and into our own consciousness, particularly in the realm of memory. Plato, another eminent philosopher, proposed a theory called anamnesis, the belief that learning is essentially recollection. This idea suggests that our memories are remnants of knowledge gained in a previous life or state. The concept of anamnesis assumes that memories are fixed entities, untouched by the river's flow. But if we accept Heraclitus's premise, then even our recollections must be subject to the same impermanence that governs all things. This means that our memories are not immutable records, but rather dynamic processes influenced by the river's ceaseless flow. Thus, just as the river's waters continuously change while maintaining its identity, our memories too evolve and adapt within us. Perhaps the act of recalling itself is akin to stepping into a river. Each time we dip into our memory, it has already shifted and changed. This perspective not only aligns with Heraclitus's philosophy of change, but also enriches our understanding of memory as an active and fluid part of our consciousness. And as we navigate the ever-changing currents of our lives, we carry with us memories that evolve and adapt along the way. Despite this, the idea of hope persists within us. Hope allows us to aspire for something better, even as we acknowledge the impermanence of our world. In ancient Greek thought, aspiration was seen not just as a human desire, but as a driving force behind progress and personal growth. Logos helps us understand that within the ever-shifting currents of life, there exists an underlying order and coherence. In literature, we find echoes of this idea. For instance, in Homer's Odyssey, the hero Odysseus endures countless trials and tribulations on his journey home. Throughout his Odyssey, change is a constant companion. Storms at sea, encounters with mythical creatures, and shifting loyalties among his crew members. Yet, Odysseus holds on to the hope of returning home. His resilience in the face of unceasing change is emblematic of the human spirit's capacity to maintain optimism despite impermanence. The concept of hope amidst constant change finds further resonance in Stoic philosophy, which was influenced by Heraclitus's ideas. Stoics believed in accepting the inevitable changes in life and maintaining an inner tranquility that is not shaken by external events. This acceptance of change allows for a type of hope that is not naive, but grounded in reality. It acknowledges the impermanence of things, yet still strives towards personal growth and resilience.